gonna sit down and read the whole thing. What a layperson is, a chiropractor is and should. Chiropractic is one of the principles of life. Chiropractic is based upon the same principles as this. What is that?
The law of gravity.
The law of gravity. Sid Williams did that with the keys. Have you all heard the key story? The singular, most brilliant thing I've ever seen come out of any chiropractor. When he drops something, it's so true. We work with basic natural laws that are immutable and unchangeable, whether we like them or not, just like the law of gravity. Whether you believe it or not, you step out of a third-story window, you are going to splatter on the ground. In the beginning, a male cell and a female cell come together within a mother to form the very first cell of the future human being. That first tiny cell you can barely see with the microscope. It's 100% life. Now, I do it much bigger and fancier and easier to look at than I'm doing here. But I'm just trying to give you the idea, because I know you're going to get bored real fast. But you know all this shit, right? Well, if you did, then I wouldn't be here telling you about it. So, listen up. The very first cell, and we all know how that happens, right? So we won't discuss it. You certainly know how that happens.
I haven't figured it out yet.
A little time passes. That's a big phrase. I'm going to use that a lot in the course of the orientation. A little time passes. A little time passes. There's no process. It does not take time. This time idea is really important. You got to get that across to people. A little time passes, and this cell splits in half. Each of those halves split in half. And they split in half, and they split in half, and they begin splitting and splitting and splitting until you create the very first identifiable tissue of the human being, a rudimentary brain. A little time passes after the brain is formed, it begins sending out long, slender projections. And these projections divide and redivide, divide again, and actually divide and redivide 60 to 80 trillion times. That we count, probably another 100 trillion that we can't count. These long projections and their various divisions are nerves, right? Sure they are. You have anatomy. You're a doctor person. You know this. A little time passes. And at the end of each one of these 60 to 80 billion nerve endings, occur small things that are technically called organelles. Now we call them buds because we're a little easy to understand. We call them buds. These buds are going to be future glands, organs, and tissues. For example, this bud might become an arm and a hand. And this bud might become, a gallbladder. And this one a heart. And let's make these foot and legs, for obvious reasons. And this one might be, a liver. And this one's going to be an arm and a hand. Until finally, at full term, there is produced an entire, complete, living human being. With arms and hands and feet and legs and gallbladder and liver and eyes and ears and nose and throat, everything necessary to life. A newborn baby. This baby was produced by 100% life generated up here by the brain and flowing over the nervous system. I know it's not philosophically correct, but we're here to get a point across, not to be philosophically correct. We're here to tell lay people something that they can take home, put in their pocket about chiropractic, and tell others about. Now, at this point, I change my color marker. This is my PowerPoint presentation. Now, when all these glands, organs, and tissues are created, there's also created a series of 24 little rectangular bones that travel down the middle part of the back. These are the spinal bones, the vertebrae. They surround or encase these long projections of nerves that we talked about before, which we now call the spinal cord. Let's stop for a second and take a look at the spine. You will stop for a second and take a look at the spine, which I happen to have in my bag. This is a two-segment example of a spine. You can get these from US Anatomical and any number of places. Real cheap. This is $20. You see here, spinal cord traveling down inside the bone, spinal nerves branching off from the bone, going to number one, create, and later on control the function of the glands or organizations in the body. Now, these bones are movable, so they can bend and twist and turn. Let's see what happens when one of these bones goes out of place. Stick your pinky in there. Ow. How about you? You chicken? What is it? You know where the nerve comes out? Certainly. What kind of school did you go to? Let's assume for a second that we leave your pinky in there pinch like that for 3 or 4 days, or a month, or a year, or 5 years, or 10 years. Process. A vertebral subluxation, bone out of place and pinching on a nerve. Let's assume we leave your pinky there pinch for all those years. What's going to happen? Well, at first it's going to get all red and swollen and inflamed. And in time, it's going to actually begin to wither and die and atrophy. In other cases, it's certainly not going to work right. Well, a similar thing happens to these nerves. They don't work right. And you become, as we say in chiropractic, dis-eased with a hyphen. Not diseased, not with some identifiable disease that can be treated. You know, where you go to your medical doctor and he says, oh, you've got XYZ disease. You need to take these pills. You need this surgery. Or you need this therapy. But disease, a word unique to chiropractic. And it's the heart and soul of chiropractic. If you're not using the word diseased in your lecture, you need to. But it is what distinguishes us from everybody else. Nobody else treats dis-ease. Disease is a lack of harmony, lack of coordination, lack of the ability to respond, lack of the ability to adapt to your environment. Your body becomes diseased. That's always a bad thing. Because if you can't respond to your environment, you can't adapt to your environment, what's going to happen? Your environment's going to kill you. Let's assume one of these bones was out here. Let's move this one out. Subluxation occurs here. It's affecting the nerve that goes to the heart. We use the heart only because most people are familiar with their heart. A vertebral subluxation occurs. The nerve becomes impinged. The nerve that goes to the heart. And instead of 100% life getting through the heart, let's say only 98% of the life is getting through the heart. Well, the heart still feels pretty good. If you were to go to your medical doctor and get an EKG, that's so small it's imperceptible. He'd say you're in perfect shape, your heart's working great. Because that's within the framework of the margin of error that all medical machines and diagnostics have. Unfortunately, this guy feels fine. And he judges his life by how he feels. You know anybody who felt well and died? Well, yeah, sure. 32 years old, never had a sick day in his life. Went out on the golf course, fell over dead. He's mighty dead for a healthy guy. Everybody says, oh, he's so healthy. If that's what health is, I don't think I want it. Subluxation stays here. Weeks, months, and years go by. Weeks, months, and years go by. Weeks, months, and years go by. Subluxation remains here. This 98% eventually becomes 70%, and then 60%. And at some point, and it's different for every gland organ tissue and different for every human body, at some point, this heart begins to dysfunction. And what do you do then? You see your ND. You say, Doc, I got this terrible chest pain and I can't breathe. It's going down my left arm. I can't you back to something for me. And he does. Put you in the emergency room. They do various emergency things that have to be done. And thank the Lord, you survive. You go home, you spend a couple of weeks recuperating, you're suddenly taking massive amounts of medications that he's prescribed, you go for cardiac rehab, but you're looking and feeling better. You get your spine checked? You think maybe your body needed a chance to have a healthy nerve supply? I don't know. It's a process. What do chiropractors do? Chiropractors examine spines. They examine the spines of every human being there is. We even examine the spines of non-human beings, like dogs and cattle and horses. But I don't do that, because I can't stand dealing with those crummy animals. I just take care of people. Vertebral subluxation. Bone out of place impinging on a nerve, causing that nerve to dysfunction. We find these areas of subluxation. I introduce a force in here to push that bone back in place. And I begin the process of correcting that subluxation. And over time, we get this thing back to place, back to where it belongs. 100% life starts flowing over the nerve again. And we create a condition in which the tissues become normal and begin to live rapidly. What's chiropractic about? It's about life and death. In simple terms, the elements of an orientation, for those of you who are recording this. In my opinion, something to get their attention. Establish the existence of innate intelligence or life force, depending on how you want to do it. Grow the body under the perfect direction of the innate intelligence over the central nervous system. Create the spinal bones, demonstrate the vertebral subluxation. Discuss disease versus diseases. Talk about what chiropractors do, who needs chiropractic care, how long and how often do I come, fees, and questions and answers. Okay. At this point, there should be no questions, because they're either completely with you or so totally lost they don't know enough that. Either way. How long do I come? How often do I come? We want to get this done in a group setting. This is not something for an individual. Why? Because it's true for everybody. A vertebral subluxation occurs. When it does, it impinges on the nerve, causes the nerve dysfunction, and causes everything the nerve affects dysfunction. You're coming, let's say, on Monday. We start most of our patients off 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Why? Because I only want to work 3 days a week. That's why. No, I'm just kidding. Because that's how it works. It works best that way. You come in on Monday, I check the spine. If it's subluxated, I introduce a force and correct the subluxation as best we can. What happens on Tuesday? It tends to go back to where it was. It's been over here out of place for 22 years. It doesn't suddenly want to jump back in place. Come on Wednesday, you check the spine, correct the subluxation. On Thursday, it goes out. On Friday, we correct the subluxation. On Saturday, it goes out. But each time we correct the subluxation, it stays in place a little bit better, it stays in place a little bit longer, you begin, as we say, holding and adjusting. As you begin holding, you can begin cutting it down to twice a week, and ultimately to once a week. Once a week, for most patients, is the maximum you can hold an adjustment. Once you've allowed a vertebral subluxation to exist in your spine for any length of time, you create a permanent residual damage that will not change. You can never be like you were before the subluxation. You can be better, but you'll never be perfect again. None of us are ever perfect again. That shouldn't come as too big a shock. Your wife tells you that all the time. You're not perfect. So, how long do you come to a chiropractor? Well, if I have vertebral subluxation, I want to correct it. And once it gets corrected, that's that 2 and 3 times a week stuff, I want to see my chiropractor once a week to make sure it stays that way. Ideally, what's the best thing to do with chiropractic? Well, it's the best thing to do with chiropractic thing we do with our 3 children. I have 3 children. I was there in the delivery room. I checked their spine immediately upon birth. 2 needed to be adjusted, 1 didn't. I adjusted them. And from there on in, they're under maintenance care the rest of their lives. We never let them get damaged. Unfortunately, most of you wait 30 years before you come in, or 40 or 50. And now you want it all fixed. Well, it doesn't work. So you get under regular chiropractic care. How long do you want to be unsubluxated? The rest of your life? If this is true, if it is, and it is, because I do nothing but tell the truth, if it is true that vertebral subluxation is a harbinger of premature disease and death, how do I charge to fix it? Well, if this is about life and death, fixing it could be worth millions. Unfortunately, you don't have millions. So you know what? What I want to do is to be sure that you can get in here. That you, your husband, wife, 6 kids, all get under regular chiropractic care. Yeah, your kids, right, exactly. You want to wait and see if your kids end up like you? Oh God, that would be a terrible thing. We're introducing a thought, aren't we? Okay. So, how do we pay for this? In the adjusting room, which you'll see later, is a wooden box on the wall. In that box, you deposit whatever fees within your means. In this office, you set the fees, not me. What are your means? Your means are your income minus your expenses. There's some discretionary income in everybody's income. From that, you need to take a portion and create a flat weekly fee for care. It's not going to go up if you come in here 27 times a week. It's not going to go up if you bring your entire family in, and it's not going to go down. It's going to be what's within your means. Now, once you start paying what's within your means, you can bring your wife in, your 6 kids. See, so when I asked you to bring the wife and kids in, I wasn't asking you because I was looking to pick your pockets and steal your money. I was looking because I wanted to save the lives of your family. That's what it's all about here.